Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM22. This is Dragons. It's episode 45. We're at the Tour de France. I'm going to be getting through the rest of the Tour de France within this episode. I have two stages planned out that I will be showing, so we're going to have to quick sim some of the others and leave it to fate. Lieberman currently on a +2, and with only a week to go in the Tour, he appears to be more than a week away from hitting his fitness peak. Musabekov has started his a couple of days ago. He's got a +4 on the expected. Terraskin about to hit his. I'm not sure anybody else is going to reach there. Loktung is the only other one who is even remotely close, and I just don't think he's going to make it in a week, or if he does, it's going to be the Champs-Elysees where he's finally feeling good and on that peak. So for Lieberman, a +2 seems to be right where he's going to be for the remainder of this tour. He currently sits in 5th place as we enter a number of big mountain stages. This one finishing on top of the Tourmalet. Lieberman and Reddy finishing in the group that is just 25 seconds down on the overall Ayuso, taking the stage. That is going to change the standings a little bit up here, but not much. Pogacar, Almeida, Callis, Ironsman still lead, and then we are a minute behind at 108. Vlasov at 123, Ayuso now at 147. That is overall a pretty decent stage. Reddy, meanwhile, has worked his way up to P14. Before I get into the next stage, just a little teaser for you on something to expect and look for over the next few days is PCM23 content. Yes, I have just actually minutes ago finished a presentation from Cyanide and Nacon regarding the Tour de France 23 game and the PCM 23 game, and I will be able to get an advanced look. I have not opened it as of yet, but there are more features coming, and I'm excited by that because it wasn't looking great there for a little bit, that there wasn't going to be much changing. But there's one key change about PCM that you haven't heard about yet that I am excited for. So look for those videos in the coming days. I will be able to present a total of 1 hour of content pre-release. So I'm looking forward to get my hands on it and showing you what there is in store. If I had enough time to bring you 3 stages, I would, but I only have enough time for 2. This is that 3rd stage that I would bring you, but there's 2 even bigger and more decisive stages to come that I'm gonna go ahead and sit this one out as well. Stage 15 with 3 pretty big climbs on the way to the finish line. Let's hope that Lieberman can hang in there. Terraskin has started his fitness peak, and you're looking at, positive race day condition up and down the team. Lieberman just starting to show the sign of fatigue kicking in. That's one of the only good things about him coming in really late on that fitness peak build, is it meant his fitness fatigue level was low and his fitness was building, and only just now starting to take a hit here on stage 15. So I think even by stage 20 he should still be at about 90% plus, meaning he won't be having any negatives coming. Terraskin, meanwhile, is already down to 89. Loktung is at 91. Musabekov is at 92. Those guys could start to suffer in the final stages. Lieberman puts in a very solid performance on this one. 6th place, along with Jack Haig behind Glog, Little, Asgreen getting onto the podium, and then a couple, what looks like a group of breakaway riders on this one. Oh, yeah, totally. Group of breakaway riders. Are you kidding me? How does a 60 mountain win the stage and then a 69? Bailey Little was the group chasing them. So that's your breakaway surviving, hanging on, not impacting anything, not giving time bonuses. There's the first guy who's actually chasing, and then we're only a matter of seconds behind that and finishing ahead of your Ayuso, and no sign there. Bernal way down here. Haven't seen Pogacar. 413 behind. 413 behind for Pogacar. Holy crap. We just gained 4 minutes. 4 minutes on Pogacar today. We're into 2nd place. And Callus leads. Callus leads. Where was Callus even at in the standings? Terraskin, by the way, was a minute 7 down. There's Callus, 33 seconds behind. So we actually gained time on him, which we don't really want to be having the jersey for what that means to the team. So Callus of KBC leads overall. Daniil Callus, who's an 81 mountain, very, very deserving. I mean, he is much stronger than Lieberman's now an 80 mountain. He was a 79, wasn't he? Has he leveled up? 38 seconds down, and then nearly a 1 minute advantage over everybody else. And we were just at the opposite end of this, right? The top 4 were all a minute ahead of us. We close the gap on one of them, and then the other 3 lose significant time. Bailey Little did gain a little time on us and is just under a minute behind. Ayuso, who's been really strong the last couple of stages, has moved up to 4th place. And then you're starting to see a drop. 2 minutes down, almost 2 minutes down on us. Let's see, what would that be? Gaio? Oh, I want to say Gaio? Sure. 2:15 behind. Pavlik. A lot of strong young riders. By the way, this series, we are now in year 7. So you're seeing a pretty healthy changeover. Just the young riders of before are left. But Bernal at 31, Pogacar at still just 29. The favorites down in P7 and P8 right now. Jack Haig, who stuck with me, is P9. Arensman rounds out the top 10. There's Vingegaard, 6 minutes behind. That was a big stage for us. Really big stage. How's it looking now? Points classification. Mountain classification led by Van Aert. Van Aert is now 33 years old. Still phenomenal, but only a 74 mountain for him at this point in time. The under 25s. I knew there was one rider ahead of us who was under 25s. Now I know who it is. It's Callus. And actually the whole, that's your top 5, isn't it? Just about. Ayuso, the only one in the top 5 who is not an under 25. New generation taking hold. Team classification, we are 7th. 17 is a simple, punchy stage, but you know there's going to be time gaps. Lieberman only at 75 in the hills. Let's hope that he does not lose any big chunk of time today. I would imagine he'll probably be 20 seconds down. That's my guess. Front group, first 16 all on same time. How far down does that continue? Down to 29th, and we are not there. There's a group 12 seconds behind. Pogacar is included in this group. Lieberman is included in this group, so 8 seconds closer than I expected, but also definitely lost time. 50 seconds behind Callus now, half minute ahead of Chasers. I'm nervous for this one for multiple reasons. One, this has been the hardest stage of the tour so far. The other stages weren't this difficult, and yes, Lieberman did well, but the on paper versus the actual going out here and doing it, the difficulty level doesn't translate on Quick Sim. So an 82 mountain in Quick Sim is an 82 mountain. An 82 mountain here in the 3D race simulation, they have a +4. So an 82 mountain is an 86 mountain. There are 10 riders in this field with an 82 mountain or better. Just an example of how difficult this field is. In the breakaway of 14 riders, Pavel Sivakov is there. Now, Pavel Sivakov is one of the better climbers in the entire world in the professional peloton, and yet Pavel Sivakov is about 8th or 9th favorite in that group. That's how elite that group is. There's an 83 mountain, there's an 82 mountain, there's a number of guys that are 80 mountain or better base, and then add 4 to that. Lieberman, meanwhile, the only guy on the team who had a negative race day condition draw, a -3 compared to his expected, and he sits second overall at 50 seconds down with everything going into trying to protect him. Yet his 80 mountain base has absolutely no boost to it. His 78 stamina is actually hurt with a -1. So I'm going to have a big task on my hands. Added to make it even more challenging is the fact that that group of 14 that has gone away has made some teams not very happy and they're riding quite hard to pull it back. We've already pulled back 1 minute so far as we go through this first climb of the day, 11.5K, 2,000 meters worth of climbing at 6.5%. We've already dropped off the first handful of riders out the back. You can see Luktung, Hamad all struggling at least a little bit on this one. We got 125K to go till still, and 2 all-category climbs, including, I believe, let's double check that this is the case. Yes, the Col du Galibier, the Galibier climb, 22K, 5%. We get over the first climb, full team intact. We will get the recovery, so we've survived so far, but we definitely had to put our foot down on that climb to hold our positions and not get dropped. And that's going to take its toll. 113K to go. We need Luktung to go get water. Now the support, anyway, is good. Musabekov has a +5, Reddy +4, Tereskin +4, Alpasov +3, Tung a +2. Even Hamad has a +1. I mean, it's green for the entire team, minus our leader. At least he's not, got a terrible race day condition, but a -3 draw is pretty dang terrible for the hardest stage of the tour so far. For the one guy who to not be feeling it, being the one guy that matters, is going to make our task rather difficult. Especially, it has nothing to do with him being in second place, but it has everything to do with the fact that we are surrounded by riders that are going to be in the mid 80s for their mountain ratings, and he's sitting on a flat 80 with no bonuses. In fact, a -1 on his stamina. Just making me nervous. Well, anyway, we're going up the Izord climb, and the guys are already tired. I mean, Tung is not going to last too long here, so we are definitely not going to be having the full team getting through this one. Peloton already down to 82. Breakaway down to 13 riders, but still holding at 2.5 minutes. At that sort of gap, at this sort of pace that we've been at, I don't think the breakaway has a great chance today of hanging on, but there are ridiculously good climbers there. So Alpasov is the empty. Well, I don't want him protecting Tereskin, so never mind Tereskin. But let's get you up behind Lieberman. We're just going to 79 here, but we are already struggling to keep up, and you're going to see more riders going out the back here as Luktung has been dropped. Musabekov is about to go, and he was the one protecting Lieberman, and we still have 7K to go on this climb. This is getting worrying that we might not even make it through this climb. Hamad and Musabekov have been dropped. We're down to 43 in the group at 6.5K. And Alpasov is nearly out of energy, and these two are at least in position. Pace is lifting. Okay, that's good. Pogacar now leading it out for Ayuso. Or Almeida. We're all well placed not long ago. Alpasov is about to go out the back. That means Tereskin, you are next. 5K to go still on this climb. And it's looking, oh gosh, Lieberman's almost out. Lieberman, 4K to go. He's not going to make it to the top. He's not even going to get close here. And you're seeing 4 riders break away. It's like they instantly notice that he is fatigued, but they're not going anywhere. They are not going anywhere. That's good. Come on. Alpasov has been dropped. Pace has lifted. Everybody's tired. This is the best news all day. 2 more riders get dropped, but Lieberman is just hanging on here. 1K to go. He might make it, might recover, but I'm nervous about the next climb if he's already struggling this bad on this one. And he is about to go out the back. Oh, he doesn't. He hangs on. He hangs on. For now, we go 99 and try to recover position. He is not very good at descending, and he is going backwards. Come on, get that position back. There you go. There you go. We need water desperately. Tereskin is protecting you, though, so let's get ready. Even though you're at the front and comfortable, I want ready to get the water. Yes. Okay, Lieberman back in a position. Can definitely ease off now. Alpasov is 2.5 minutes behind, so he's not going to catch this group, and we can back off even more here. 77. Okay. 79. 30 in the group. 2 a minute ahead of us. A further 5 a further minute up the road, so 2 minutes ahead. And we have recovered, but you can see just how tired Lieberman is versus, say, Kasim Reddy, who's got an 85 today on his stamina and is barely taking a hit on anything. Taraskin, meanwhile, definitely feeling it a bit more. In fact, he didn't even get fully recovered, protecting his leader. But how are we going to get Lieberman over the top of this climb? It's all for him. Nobody else is in a good position at all. We had Kasim Reddy well placed before, but he's down to 36th. He lost a big chunk of time on one of those recent mountain stages. So Taraskin will protect him. Reddy we'll stay on his wheel, and we are about to begin the Galibier climb. We're going to back off more and hope we're going to definitely slow down on the climb, that we don't drift, because he's not making it 21k on this amount of energy on this rating in this field. Based on what we just saw, we have very little chance of making it in the group. Very big chance that we are going to get dropped here. So for now, we're going to ride ultra conservatively and hope to hang on. Once we start drifting, well, then we'll have to adjust. I'm not responding. That's Glogue from 12th place. Why would Ineos come forward? Nobody wants to ride right now. He's just going clear. But the more that nobody wants to ride, the better it is for me. Glogue's gap is... He's got Van Aert with him, by the way, who is the KOM leader. He's got 59 points, as Glogue now rides clear of him. 6:20 behind, and we are about a minute. So we've got a good 5.5 minutes on him as he catches the front 5 there. The longer we keep up this light tempo, better it's going to be, because it's the top of the climb that's going to be really difficult. Now that is worrying, as that's little attacking, and he very much can take second place away from me. But based on how Lieberman looks, I'm very much not responding to anyone's attacks. I am 100% just trying to stay in the group as long as possible, and then use these other two to help us get through this thing in one piece. Okay, ready? You can hold position a bit better. Actually, no. Stay with your leader. Do not leave your leader for an instant. So follow for ready. Lieberman. They're speeding up, so I'm speeding up. Try to go in 85 if possible. Taraskin hanging on. We've already used Taraskin's gel. I think Lieberman's going to run out of energy before Reddy, so Reddy will be just working for his leader. 29 now chasing 2. The 2 at the front are Glogue and Clinens. We're inside 9k to go. But again, look how tired we are already, and we did not start on some crazy tempo. And here's the big accelerations that are going to make life difficult. Those guys are all in strong positions to potentially take over, and there goes Callis as well. So there's your front 5, and we are kind of the one that's missing out here. 21 chasing 5 though, and Lieberman hanging on for now. 6.5k to go. Taraskin won't last much longer, but Reddy is there to take over. It's just this, how long can Lieberman hang in there part. Now 19 chasing. Taraskin is now going to fade, so Reddy is going to take over. And Lieberman. Taraskin hasn't even been dropped, so tempo's not very high. It's going to help Lieberman, but he is running out of energy right now. Reddy, you're protecting him. Protecting. Taraskin out the back. This is what I saw coming with Lieberman. You're surrounded by guys that are, Groot. Not Baby Groot, but Groot. He has an 80 mountain. +4, folks. +4. So, Zana is an 81. Skjelmos is at 81. We're looking at guys that should be worse, but they're not. Simmons is a 79, but he's also got 83 base stamina, and there's that difference. We've hung on for every last ounce of energy that we could, but now you're looking at 82, 83, 82, another 82, another 80, and Pavlik gets dropped, but we're going out the back, and Reddy is going to keep. We go 99, and Reddy is going to protect him all the way. And then on the descent, we'll do what we can. 26 seconds to Terraskin. Love to see him recover and get back up there, because with a 3-man chase and a descent to come, we can pull Lieberman forward. Stannard, De Plus, Groot, Pavlik, Haig. A lot of guys have been dropped. Little, but we are so far behind now. We've got 8 chasing 2. Begatcher, Turner. We are gaining because we are a decent climber here. Now we're sitting on in a group. Lieberman might get a little recovery, but let's go back in. There's the top. There's Pavlik, so at least Pavlik isn't far ahead. But yeah, this is looking like a very bad day here in terms of time gaps. Certainly not the 4 minutes we lost before. There's Callis, the overall race leader, leading this thing out. Arnsman, who sits 10th. Bernal, who sits 7th. Gallo, 5th. Then Haudegem is not a threat. Vingegaard would be a threat, but isn't a threat. We're not that far down. And then Lopez is not a threat. So there's a few guys that are definite threats. Glog also not that far, but there's Pogacar, who sits 8th now. And Ayuso, who sits 4th. There is Little. And we have gotten a little bit of recovery. So now, oh gosh, I thought that was where we were. Ready? Pull. Terraskin's 10 seconds behind us, but can I get him to go 99? Is he good on... He's not a very good descender. And it's all just descent, so... Can Lieberman follow? Lieberman's not very close behind. I've got Reddy sprinting here, light sprinting everywhere he can to try to gain time. There's a 2-minute gap between us and those next 5 that I was looking at a moment ago. We are 3:49 down overall, so it is almost those 4 minutes. Ready, sprinting harder now, especially on this section. He's an 83 downhill. Lieberman not recovering, but that doesn't matter. We're losing time. How? 83 downhill and he's losing. Oi! I was sprinting. Arnsman takes the win ahead of Bernal. Callis takes 3rd. Ayuso. And there's... Yeah, this is not looking good, folks. Full sprint here. 1K to go for Lieberman. Lieberman sprinting. We've certainly gained a little bit of time on the chasing pack, but those 17 riders gain a big chunk of time. We end up 3:12 down. And there's Terraskin crossing the line. Time loss, folks. Definite time loss. That race day condition really hurt Lieberman, and we lose 3 minutes on the way to the top of the Glibier and only recover about 25 seconds on the descent is all we managed to recover. But at least we did that. Significant time loss, 3:13. Reddy and Terraskin coming in just over a minute behind that. There's definitely other contenders that missed out too, but we were the ones who really, really lost time. And Lieberman drops all the way to 8th place at 4:07 behind, with Callis still leading from Ayuso, who's been really strong the last handful of stages. But, that happens with an 83 mountain. Well, that happens with an 87 mountain that he had for a base yesterday. No wonder. But Little, Guyot, Bernal is now the top 5. Pogacar back up to 6th. Arnsman and Lieberman sits 8th. Honestly, for this guy, that's better than expected because he's nowhere near the top 10. Right? Like I said, there are 10 riders with an 82 or better mountain base. So we might have to just kind of run things out through the quick sim from here on out, because racing for Lieberman in person is not gone well so far. But of course, a big chunk of that was that race day condition that just didn't exist. For the under 25s, we've dropped to 4th place. We actually moved up to 5th place as a team. Stage 19 is another mountain stage. It looks more like a hill stage, but it's only 125k, which then makes the mountains that much more treacherous, and this appearing more stretched. That's going to be a lot steeper than what this appears to be from here. And Lieberman does not fare well on this one. He loses another minute, finishing the stage in 31st position, with Bailey Little finishing ahead of Enrique Mas to win the stage. So Callis still leads from Ayuso, and then Little, Gaillot, Lieberman keeps 8th position, though, at 5:05 behind, now just ahead of Pavlik and Jack Haig. And in a field that the top 12 remain relatively close to each other, with that stage 20 yet to come. If we were just outside of the top 10, I would absolutely send Lieberman in the breakaway for this one. Playing it out live isn't going to help much when we're, on the edge of the top 10 and not looking great anyway. Let's just go ahead and quick sim this thing. It's another short stage, 131k with 2 mega climbs and a short climb in between. This one finishes up on Val Thorns. Much better day for Lieberman, finishing 30 seconds down in 10th place, with Loai Hamad finishing 8 seconds behind him, helping him out right up till the end. But Ayuso wins the stage, but Callis remains on same time, picks up a few bonus points himself, and that means Callis should be your Tour de France winner, with Ayuso in second. Pogacar has rebounded. He had one really, really bad day and lost 4 minutes. We had one pretty bad day and lost 3 minutes. Overall, we move back up to 7th place for the final standings, and only 5.5 minutes down. Usually we see much larger gaps in this in the Tour de France. I mean, even Vingegaard in 12th was only 9:43 behind before things really start to open up from there. But Callis does claim victory. Of course, Champs-Élysées still to come, but that will not impact the times. Ayuso, Gaillot gets on the podium. Arnsman, Pogacar, only 5th place for him, will be incredibly disappointing. Little Bernal only getting 9th is incredibly disappointing for somebody who's an 82 mountain, good time trialist, good enough anyway, 81 stamina. So for Lieberman, with that attribute distribution, that's a great 7th place finish for him. So getting anyone in the top 10 is an accomplishment for us as a team. We have never been to a Grand Tour before, and top 5 would have been phenomenal, and we're only just over a minute off of that, but still, top 7, pretty impressive stuff, I'd say, for the first appearance here. And if it wasn't for that negative race day condition on a key stage there, I think Lieberman can hang on at least to first, second, third group, something like that, and certainly not lose the 3 minutes, only lose about 1, in which case, if we're 2 minutes better off, 3:39 down, that's 4th place. And I think if he had just that base +2 that was expected for that day, I think we accomplished that. I think we achieved that, and he finishes in 4th place instead of 7th. But that's the mercy of the game. It happens, and you get what you get, and you deal with it, and you move on. Overall, pretty dang good race. Albin Jeffrey over 100 points ahead, so even with the Champs-Élysées will not impact that. He will win the points classification. Is a 81 sprint, 83 acceleration. KOM Van Aert claims it by just 5 points over Asperan. Asperan has an 80 mountain, 26 years of age. Hugh Carthy was well behind in 3rd. In the under 25s, we finish 4th place. Shocking is that, but it is what it is. And team classification, in the end, 4th place is pretty good for our team. really good for our team. I mean, we're looking at all World Tour guys. Is Tudor World Tour, or are they back down to Continental Pro? It's hard to keep track these days of who is World Tour and who is not, but we are miles ahead of many, many, many other teams. It's a rare sight to see, but the Champs-Élysées has resulted in a breakaway victory of some 9 minutes, with Ethan Vernon taking the stage. He's got an 83 sprint. No wonder he beat Van Barle and company. And then a follow-up 3 riders that were in the break but couldn't keep up with them. So 7 riders stay significantly away. I don't think that's going to change anything, though, as none of those guys should have been up there in the standings. Lieberman, otherwise not losing time, and yes, does hang on to 7th place, as that entire group was way, way too far down in the GC. Of course, the points classification was also already decided, so no changes across the board, except whoever one of those breakaway riders that gained significant time was amongst these, well, presumably bike exchange, but not necessarily. It could have been 2 guys on, say, UAE in that breakaway, and they gain a big chunk of time, and we dropped to 5th in the team classification. But otherwise, no changes at the Champs-Élysées. Just a massive surprise of a breakaway victory, which in real life they wouldn't let that happen. Breakaways, once you reach that loop of the Champs-Élysées, they never gain more than about 15 seconds over the peloton, and they are chased down very hard. It's hard to maintain a high position in the rankings when you're not even involved in the Grand Tours. We finally get involved in one. We do decently well, so we'll have some points. We'll see how that translates compared to the other teams who, finished above us, those 6 spots above us. For example, Ayuso in the individual rankings has jumped to number 1, going up 11 spots. Pogacar jumps a few spots to number 2, but he only finished, 5th? 6th when we finished. He finished 5th, we finished 7th, right? That's enough to move him up a few spots. Callis taking the win, comes out of seemingly nowhere to 6th in the rankings for KBC. Asgreen also on the KBC team, by the way. Bailey Little moves up 8 spots to 8th, and Lieberman moves up 22 spots, now 11th in the World Tour rankings. Now, what about the Super Prestige overall? That is 11th overall for Lieberman. This, by the way, is looking very, very good for Israel in the training structure for the coming year, as he picked up a solid amount of points, now has over 1,000 Super Prestige points all alone. Van Aert, though, is the current leader. In the team rankings, World Tour-wise, we actually moved up a spot, so we are 6th in the World Tour rankings, and not even as a World Tour team, right? Continental Pro, Israel Premier Tech down in 15th is the next highest. Continental, I put very little time or effort into it, but we're still top 3. And in the Super Prestige, 6th place. That is an incredible spot to be in for a team our size with no dominant force. I mean, there are Continental teams that have riders like Matthew Van Der Poel for a number of years there, right? Evenepoel weren't on major teams. Evenepoel a bit sooner, but you had elite individual talents that had a discipline that they were very competitive in, could pick up wins in against World Tour talent, or be consistently on podiums as Continental Pro riders, and that would boost their team significantly in the rankings, but not like us, not to 6th, right? It puts them here. It puts them as, those are good all-around teams that are competitive. We don't match up to those teams. Those teams as a whole are stronger than we are, yet, hey, we're 6th place, and I'm quite proud of where we are and what we've achieved on this season so far. Next up for us is the signing period. It's coming, folks. And we've got a lot of expiring contracts this year, so we could have a very, very different looking team next season. We're going to have a lot of guys that are going to look for a huge pay increase, but we have locked up that sponsor confidence. So we are going to see a pretty healthy boost of nearly 40,000 more in terms of budget than what we had this year. And then with all those expiring contracts, there is additional money that is freeing up. But that doesn't mean we're going to be able to re-sign everybody, because so many of them are going to be looking for a big pay raise. And yeah, that could really alter things. So it's a big one, folks. This next episode is a very important one for the future of this series. Now, I do think we are comfortable in hanging on to Continental Pro, but can we crack the World Tour level? Will another 40,000 the following year be enough to stay there, or will that be enough to get us there? Big ifs. A lot of different scenarios that could play out. I mean, we could be in Continental next year, we could be Continental Pro, we could be World Tour. The world is our oyster. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to look out for those PCM23 and TDF 23 videos upcoming very soon. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.